Taylor Guitars is expanding the already popular Gold Label series with new guitars in a new body shape from the Grand Pacific body shape that we love. We're going to tell you all about these, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
My name is Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, you can visit our spring store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts at. So the Gold Label series has been met with a ton of excitement. We've had difficulty keeping a lot of the new models in stock, and people have really responded well to, I think, the overall visual changes that are going on that really set it apart from the rest of the Taylor line, but also the different sound that comes out of them as well. And so, rightfully so, Taylor has expanded with some new body shapes that I'm real excited about, because these are two of my favorite guitars generally in their lineup anyway. It's the 717, the 517, and the round shoulder Dreadnought Grand Pacific body shape. Surprised they're not calling this a Super Pacific or something, just to go with the whole Super Auditorium deal.
Yeah, I asked that to Andy when we were there, and I think it's because this is the true lines of the Grand Pacific, whereas
it's not really changed.
The Super Auditorium was a slightly different profile, but it is completely different than any other GPs that they've done. And I'm excited about them because these are not only different body shape, different sound, with all the build things that we like about the Gold Label, but they are also available at a much lower price than what we now know as the 814E Gold Label. Those being 800 series, a little more tricked out, but starting at $44.99.
And higher in tone woods on those as well.
Yeah, and so, these are Gold Labels starting at, I think, $27.99, I'm pretty sure. That's pretty...
Check the website,
Check the website,
for correct pricing.
If you are looking at these two sort of traditionally styled guitars and looking at the price point of $27.99 up through, low 3,000s, it kind of puts these right in line with a few other kind of traditional options that I think makes it a tougher choice. It's pretty cool.
Well, let's talk about what makes the Gold Label different from the get-go. Obviously, when you first walk up, if you're looking, like, say, in our store at our beautiful wall of Taylor guitars, you'll notice right off the bat that the body shape is a little different from what they've done for years. I mean, the Grand Pacific's been around, I think, since about 2018, 2019. It came out before COVID. So they've been out for a little bit, and yet I still see people that are surprised by, what's that? Taylor makes that? They do. It's a beautiful sounding guitar. And they were, really the first things that had V-Class according to the lore. This is what was initially designed. But the next thing you'll notice about these is a different headstock. So different headstock shape, different logo. I'm really liking, the kind of mandolin, banjo-inspired headstock there. So the inlay's different for the logo. The headstock shape is different. Everything's different in the shape of the bridge, the shape of the pickguard. It all follows what I consider to be kind of a little softer aesthetic, and it blends traditional Taylor aesthetics with maybe guitars for the past, particularly the pickguard shape. Yeah. And in this Tiger Stripe, guys, there is certainly a harkening back to like Gibson era stuff, but still has that Taylor silhouette there, kind of like if you looked at a Taylor pickguard and squinted a bit.
Yeah. And also, if you squint, you may notice that just like the 814 Gold Label, Honduran on the bridge, ebony on the fingerboard. Actually, I did film a video with Andy about these guitars that we'll be putting out at some point, because there's a fun little one-off coming, but he did talk a lot about that, and I know he talked about it with you too.
Yeah, he did, and I think he said it also harkens back to classical guitar design, where they would have like ebony and then rosewood. Yeah. And he really liked that. So, so that's some of the stuff that jumps out right off the bat, and these they have kind of simplistic appointments, a very classic look. But the other thing that's going on that makes these different is what's going on under the hood. Yeah. So we know the pickup has changed. There's no knobs up here. This is not using the ES2 pickup. It's using an LR Baggs Element VTC pickup. Yep. And then you cannot see it. It's very difficult to see, but the bracing is a different pattern. And it's using the new neck joint that was introduced in the original Gold Label 814s, which allows you to get an adjustment tool in there and pivot the angle of the neck effectively on the fly, which is really cool. The combination of that different neck joint and the bracing, which is a V-class fan brace, which effectively is V to the bridge plate and then fan brace after that, really changes the sound of these guitars, and I would say opens them up to something that is much more traditional sounding in the acoustic guitar world.
Yeah. And just like you said, that first time we heard them, like the sounds emanating from like this subwoofer down there, basically.
It was very interesting. Yeah, we've talked about that. The first time we experienced the Gold Label was a prototype in Andy's workshop, and sitting next to Cooper as he played it, I was just like, I hear it coming from here, not from here. What's the deal? And he just smiled. I was like, it would have been great to have an explanation from a technical standpoint, which we figured out later. But yeah, it really does change the way the top performs. And I think you get all you get some of the benefits of the normal V-class bracing in that you have that rigidity there.
Yeah.
But by utilizing a traditional fan brace, you can really kind of determine how that lower bout's going to move.
Yeah.
You're going to get more volume and just more bass response kind of as a result of that.
Yes, and as we mentioned, being 5 and 7, this is back to the way God intended the 500 and 700 series to be.
Rosewood and Hog.
Rosewood and Mahogany. So we
Or Monogamy.
Yeah, Monogamy for Mahogany. So the 517, Mahogany back and sides, 717, East Indian Rosewood back and sides, as opposed to on the 814, you've got Koa as an option and Honduran as the other option. So again, these are kind of your straight up, this is your, now we have a few new dreadnoughts to compare this to, spoiler alert, but for like a Torrefied top, Torrefied Spruce and Rosewood Dread, that is a awesome guitar. And if you're like me, you can't get enough of that hog. Now you got the 517. These are two guitars that came out across 8 models with this release. So there's different finishes.
There's mostly like a lot of different finishes, right? So are these are the two
wood combinations. For the 517 and the 717, you have a choice of basically 4 finishes. That's really 3, but you've got 2 guitars, 4 options at each, but there's actually 3 if you catch my meaning. So these are the natural versions. Then you've got a blacktop version of both of these. Everything basically stays the same, but the blacktop is black on the top, and it has an ivory, like cream pickguard. It's a great classic old school Gibson kind of look.
Kind of like a J45 ebony. Yeah.
Very cool. And then you've got the burst that they've been doing on the gold labels, and you can choose the fire stripe with the burst, or you can choose the cream with the burst. And the cream, as you will see in the photos that are on our website and their website, the cream is a polarizing option on the sunburst. I think it looks cool. I talked to other people at Taylor that are like, no, you got to go fire stripe. The cream's insane. Cream 100% works on the black top, but I'd love to hear some opinions on the sunburst top because I think it's cool. So, different finish options for both of these guitars, varying slightly in price between the finishes as most Taylors do, but headline here, fantastic new gold label guitars that you can get at almost half of what the 814 gold labels are. So if you've been lusting after one, you don't want to spend $5,000 on a 814 gold label and you like the Dread, these are awesome. I got to play both of them, so take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of both of these guitars, and just tonally, which one would you pick? I've always been a fan of the 517. When they did the 517 Builders Editions initially, I really liked them. That combination of Torrefied Spruce and Mahogany just kind of checks the boxes for me. The same thing's happening here. I really like it in this form, and I'd probably pick this one just because I love this tonal combination.
Like the 517.
I do, I have. I just like that warmth of Mahogany, particularly in a guitar shaped like this.
Yeah.
And I really think this kind of knocks it out of the park. So it's interesting to see how people will kind of vote with their dollars as these go. But they're both fantastic new additions to what I think is the new kid with the old soul in the Taylor lineup, which is the Gold Label series.
Yeah, that one definitely has J35-esque kind of vibe to it, but it's got a sound completely different. It's got all the high fidelity kind of Taylor thing, but still like the bracing change and a sort of low end kind of thing that is not like a typical Taylor thing.
I've played a guitar that sounds like this before, and it was actually an old Gibson.
Yeah.
And what made me think of that is when you said the hi-fi thing. I've played really old J45s that actually had some of that going on with it.
Yeah.
And so there is that typical kind of thickness that you would expect from a Gibson.
Yeah.
But when the one I played was at Carter's, and it had some work done in it and was like a late 40s. But it did sound a lot like this guitar.
Yeah.
And after the work, played a lot like this guitar. And so, I think the way Andy has usually approached these from listening to him talk about it is often with an ear towards these old recordings of old guitars and things that he would listen to and play on and work on and stuff. And then just, how can we fix some of these things that don't work in these old models?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think these are both great. I think they are a logical next step in the Gold Label thing. 814 being the flagship in whatever way, shape, or form that it's presented. But these, it feels like the construction package that you get with these, it makes a lot of sense going to this shape. And it's nice that it's a more affordable version. And if you didn't think about it, yes, this shape is customizable in the Gold Label custom program that you can get at Alamo Music.
With Alamo Music. One of the things I will say too, outside of the sound, the shape, the aesthetics of this, the neck angle I really appreciate. As someone, I'm a certified Taylor tech. I've done work on so many Taylor guitars. I've had to take off so many necks. And, being able to shim the necks was a huge step forward on those guitars. But it's still kind of a pain in the butt. You still have to take the neck off. And
that's why a Taylor setup costs more here than a...
Yeah, you have to take a neck off. I mean, you don't have to steam a glue joint or anything, but, it can kind of be a pain. To be able to just reach in with a flex driver and adjust the neck angle, it's really nice. Yeah. It's really nice. And both as a consumer, as a tech, and as a dealer for these instruments, I love it. I just immediately want to see it on absolutely everything. So
yeah, I think we might see some more. But these are really cool. And if you're already thinking, hey, that 717, it sounds really good, I'd love to hear that compared to other things. Stay tuned next week, because we got a doozy for you.
We got a big rundown.
Yes. So these guitars are available at our store, along with most of the other finishes. They're starting to roll in. This was an early sample that came in right in the nick of time, but I saw some black tops show up a couple days ago, so we're going to have a pretty good selection of these.
We should say also the case has changed with these, just like the rest of the Gold Labels. It's like a cocoa color.
Yeah, it's a nice looking case, different interior.
Yeah.
Really cool guitars. Get yourself a Gold Label. If we don't have them, we'll get them for you, but we're going to have them coming no matter what. And
that's a very aggressive no matter what.
We're going to have them no matter what. But let's switch up the game. They can find them at our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
Classic. That's the OG does it best. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more because you want to see the rundown we're doing with these, I promise. And we'll see you next time.